Hey guys, Joey here. I'm here with my good friend, designer Jeff Siadek of Who Would Win, Battlestations, Lifeboat, etc. fame. I wanted to ask you about your first RPG experience, and then it's really just an excuse for me to just talk about my own.
All right, that sounds right. So, like everybody, I fell in love with Dungeons & Dragons in the early 80s. Everybody who was alive in the 80s. And that really, I wanted to do that. I wanted to do something like that. So I made 9th Generation, which takes place 9 generations after the nuclear holocaust.
Ooh.
So, and then I wanted to do some design stuff that went into the mechanics a little differently. In D&D, all your weapons take the same amount of time to use, but in 9th Generation, they had action points based on, so a larger weapon took longer to swing, but it did more damage. And so that was kind of the idea of it.
So you just wanted to improve on D&D?
I did. I wanted to do my own thing.
Especially with the marketing and sales.
Yes. Well, D&D sort of outdid us for a while there.
So show me some of these books and tell me a little bit more about 9th Generation.
Of course, we had a Game Master's Guide and the Characters in Combat, which tells you all about the rules about how you can spend your action points to swing a weapon.
Now tell me about how you made the art here. This looks pretty
My
unique.
friend Tracy Buck made that art, and you can see right here there's a guy using a shield and grenade against a guy with a bumper. So it's a very, and you can see the moon
car
off in the
bumper,
distance.
yeah.
Car bumper.
Yeah.
And then of course the first scenario was Desert Ninjas.
Desert Ninja, yeah.
And it was really.
And this is the Game Master's Guide. This is spectacular art here.
It is, and my point here is that all the stuff that I did later would not have happened, or would have happened more terribly if I hadn't first done this terrible stuff. You know, this was great as I was doing it, and part of the fun of creating is to be in love with it and think it's going to be great and publish it, and then later on you realize this is probably, this is about 40 years outdated and it's only 30 years old.
And I just want to throw this out there. This is the mutant chart. You roll a die to find out what parts of you fall off.
Well, you could have extra parts too.
You get penalized. I notice, I'm just going to read a couple. Missing toes, you roll 1d10. You find out your agility in the affected leg is reduced by 5% per toe.
Yeah.
Now I notice instead of a missing toe, you could have a missing ear. Missing genitalia.
Yep. That's a popular one.
Well, what's this say here?
Extra genitalia.
Yeah, roll randomly.
For sex.
Yeah.
Can we say sex in this video?
Cold-blooded, thick-witted, sleeping bag, flower pot, different random items you can get. I mean, this is how much of this is directly from D&D? I mean, did you completely redo the system from scratch?
Well, I definitely, the D&D weapons were a longsword did a D8, and that was something that I just absolutely stole without thinking, and then extrapolated from there. The larger blades were a D10 or a D12, and the smaller blades were a D6 or a D4.
Did people actually play this game?
I actually played it, and I made a couple hundred copies and sold them. I presume somebody somewhere played it. I hope they did. I hope they enjoyed it for what it was worth.
Well, I don't know why you're so dismissive of it.
Well,
is it not fun, or it's just too complicated?
It's for what it delivers. It's a lot of effort. Yeah, I was just reading through it to try to get refamiliarized with it, and there's a thing where to swing a sword takes 150 action points, and so then the number of action points you get is based on your level plus your quickness. You get that every phase, so you get, say, 13 points a phase. So to swing a sword would take 20 phases. That kind of detail, and you could spend your action points on defense, which makes you harder to hit. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questionable spellings. I notice it's...
I so wish that questionable spelling was the worst thing I ever did.
You do the classic 2 spaces after a period, which that's no longer acceptable in any society.
This was in 1986 when this was released, and that was fully acceptable at that time.
Right, but this is the thematic description, so this would take place 9 generations after the nuclear holocaust in the future.
And then it might be 3 spaces, might be extra.
Civilization immolated itself in a smorgasbord of self-destruction. I see you hired some professional writers for this.
That was me. That was back when my writing was cheesy. I'd like to take a look at what you did.
All right, so hold on your monster listing, and I'll pull out mine. So my game was originally called Forbidden Castle. I was 10 years old, so it was like 93, 94. I had never played a full game of D&D, but I had seen D&D, and I was sort of aware of what it was. So this is sort of the character sheet here.
That's the character sheet you made as a 10-year-old.
10-year-old, yeah.
And here's the character sheet I made as a 22-year-old. I think I prefer the 10-year-old. But to be fair to me, this was 1986, whereas yours was, what,
94, 93.
Yeah, see,
94.
so you had oodles of...
So then we changed the name to Forbidden Empires because it was more than... It originally just took place in a big castle, and it just got more and more ambitious. And it got better and better and better. Oh,
you got cover art.
Here's the cover art, original
Nice.
cover art. Oh, yeah, see, here's the different classes. You can be a human, and I had added some of my own commentary here for comic effect. We got a human, mutant, monster, robot, magic person,
Ooh.
magic creature, insect swarm. That's got to be unique.
You
to
could be
this
an
game.
insect swarm as a character class?
Yes. Upper plant, lower plant, which is lichen, mosses, and ferns.
Okay.
Alien.
Just pick a planet, it says.
Yeah. Supernatural being, ghosts, vampires, beast, any kind of animal.
Oh, that's great.
You could even be a robot. I think I mentioned that. And here's the different types of ESP. Precognition, psychokinesis, telepathy, clairvoyance. There's also psi sword, psi shield, psychic life drain, psionic vision. And the controllers, spelled wrong, enemy stats sheet. Here's North Village. I invented a new region in my fictional universe called GROWL, G-A-U-L.
Oh, GROWL.
Figured I want a nice, short and sweet, picked something that had never been taken before.
Yep.
This skills list.
That's too many skills.
Here, so would you want to be a fighter, thief, hero, commoner, minstrel, wanderer, ruler, or spy? Or barbarian or beggar?
Oh gosh, I'd like to be a beggar.
Yeah, so a beggar has sewing, farming, dancing, aikido, swimming, fishing, hunting, tracking, survival. Survival!
Okay. So you gotta survive as a beggar.
Fire starting, blacksmithing. And my system basically, I don't remember how D&D worked back then, but my system may have been a direct ripoff. You have a target number, and your items add to your basic stat.
In my game, you rolled a percentile, and things adjusted your percentage up and down, like what their defense was, or if you're head targeting, that sort of thing.
I only had D6s, so mine was, sword would be,
But you rolled a hit. Were you rolling a D20?
No, you all I had was a 6.
So you'd
D6.
So your target number would be
Yeah,
presumably
so here,
1, 2,
so
3,
here,
4,
here
5,
it
or
is.
6.
So this is character Darkness. He's a dragon, death dragon specifically. Damage hits 15.
Those are the deadliest kind.
So it says strength 20. So I think that what that means is you roll, you add 20 to 1d6. I think that's pretty much how it is. And see, the target number to hit something would be, 15. So you would automatically hit him or whatever.
The death dragon would always hit. Sure.
Always hit.
Did ones miss? Did you have a fumble chart?
I can't remember.
I've got a fumble chart.
I can't remember, but look at this classic. I have some early art here. I used zeros to represent circles that you could fill in. That's pretty advanced. That's pretty classic. Yep. Different treasures. But there's one thing I wanted to compare our. Oh, look at this. This is some great stuff here. Planet Gwimba. But Forbidden Empires gave way to a friend of mine. Found out about the game. I started getting fan mail because my game was 100 single-spaced courier font typed pages that I would Xerox and just give out to people at school, and then they would Xerox them.
I don't see 100 pages here. What happened?
I got it somewhere. But I would get fan mail from people in other states, other kids.
Oh, wow.
And they say, we ran out of character sheets. We accidentally used the last one without Xeroxing a blank one. So I would respond to fan mail. I'm 11 years old at this point. So then this guy approaches me and he says, hey, I play your game all the time, but I'm more of a sort of a James Bond kind of guy. So I've actually redone your game. It's called Warzone, and it's about Johnny Stealth.
Okay.
So this is the same game, similar character sheet, Warzone. See?
Yeah, so you got politely ripped off.
But
That's
then,
cool.
we were playing Warzone for a while, and we got to be 12, 13, and then my friend Daniel invented his role-playing game, which coincidentally was based on all the same system, called Sex Zone. And Sex Zone, you would go around, we'd have weapons, and you would use classic abilities like, seduction, and I believe there may have been, not that this is me, but there may have been some hitting people over the head kind of situations going on in that game. And my friend, who's now a fundamentalist or a born-again preacher, minister, would frequently have to run screaming from the room because of his unbelievable arousal during these sessions of Sex Zone.
I'm glad I missed that one.
Oh, and here's Gazen. This is the main map of Gazen, which is another of my zones in GROWL, my imaginary land of GROWL. Yeah, fun times. I'm actually still working with all my guys I used to play this game with, except for the minister. We're still working on games together all these years later.
Oh, neat.
So pretty nostalgic to dig through this, but that's how it goes. All right. Well, the lights are blinking, so I guess that means it's the end.
That's our time. Hey, thanks for watching.
Thanks. Good luck. Look, we got to have a moral here.
The moral of the story is make your game. Make your game fun. Make it as an 11-year-old. Make it as a 22-year-old. Make it as a 55-year-old. Make your game, play it, have fun with it, and if nothing else, it'll make you appreciate the other games you play that much more.
Yeah, and you'll get better as a game designer, and they may or may not. People may or may not buy this game. Don't worry too much about that. If you're making stuff for other people, you've already lost you've already lost in your goals. So make it for yourself. I'm glad I made this. It helped take me to a new place with games, and I met a lot of friends that, like I said, I'm still friends with today.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything, and we'll see you on the next video.